Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Brandon Show, aka the Brand Own Show, where I show you how to get your brand on. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a very special episode of The Brandon Show, the very first ever live episode that we recorded on Instagram at _Brandon Hatcher. I'm super excited to introduce to you my guest today. She is a millennial and social media marketing strategist, keynote speaker, Chelsea Krost. And I do have to apologize about the audio, guys. It's slightly muffled on my end. I'm not too sure what's causing the problem there, but I guess I'll have to get a mic or some headphones for next time. But really, you should be listening more to Chelsea anyway, because she drops most of the knowledge in this episode. Chelsea and I are going to be talking about everything digital today, whether it's online marketing and branding, social media, influencers, whether you're a business or an individual, monetizing social media, leveraging the digital space. We're going to cover it all. So without further ado, enjoy the episode.
All right, let's Sam hit live.
I'm going to do like a 5-second countdown.
Okay, perfect.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
3, 2, 1. Hey, everybody. So excited to be live with you all. I'm about to hop on the Brandon Show, who you can see right here. We are being complete digital natives right now. We're streaming live from Facebook, live from Brandon's Instagram handle, and we're also chatting on Skype. So we will have a recorded version of our interview, and we will be publishing it at a later date, but we also wanted to come to you live. So I'm going to turn it over to Brandon, and if you have any questions throughout our interview, feel free to send them in. I have my handy-dandy assistant with me, and she will be pinging any questions our way, so feel free. Any and all questions are welcome. We are here for you guys, and really excited to jump in. All right, turning it over to Brandon. Hey, Brandon.
Awesome. Hey, Chelsea. How are you doing?
I am good. Happy to be here with you.
Thank you so much for coming on, by the way. I really appreciate you taking the time. I know you could probably be doing a million other things, but thank you so much for coming on the show. I just want to say, the reason why I wanted to start this show was because, really it boils down to the time that we're living in right now, I'm pretty sure you would agree with me that, what other time would you rather live in, where we have something like social media, we have, the information age to where we can really, there's so much opportunity for us, for anyone, doesn't matter what age you are, what it is that you do, you can leverage social media and, the internet to do, really whatever it is that you want to do. But I'm live on Instagram right now. This is the Brandon Show, guys, and I just want to introduce you to my audience, Chelsea. For those of you who may not know Chelsea, if you could kind of give us an idea, who is Chelsea Krost and how did you begin your career?
Sure. I actually posted a throwback picture on my Instagram this morning. I can't believe that my career, little did I know it was going to be my career, but it really did start a decade ago. I'm 26 years old, and at 16, I grew up in South Florida, Delray Beach, Florida. And it was about the time where teenagers were becoming such a focal point in conversation. And unfortunately, we were only talked about in such a negative way. Lazy, entitled, narcissistic, the demise of the future. These were all terms that I kept hearing from some of my favorite people in the world, like Barbara Walters and Katie Couric and Oprah and Matt Lauer. And they were all talking about is the next generation really the demise of the future? Are they going to be able to supersede, the Gen Xer generation? Right. And, for the worse or for the better. And I said to myself, think about it in 2007, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, YouTube, Snapchat, look at what we're doing. This was so not accessible. So teenagers didn't have a voice. We didn't have a platform. We didn't have a forum. Truly the programming at the time consisted of 16 and Pregnant and Hannah Montana. It was Disney Channel and MTV. And I said, this generation is truly a different generation because we were just on the cusp of social media. We were starting to become more digital than ever. Smartphones were like, everywhere, and people didn't know what to do with them. And I said, I just had this gut instinct that our generation was going to be something special, something unique, something different. And I wanted to give us a voice. And I was so adamant and passionate and persistent about it. And I look back on my 16-year-old self and I say a lot of the time, like, where did I get the balls to really put together a radio talk show treatment and pitch it to a Clear Channel Studios? Because really the only outlet for me at the time was AM radio. And I think my 16-year-old self was fearless and maybe a little naive. And I walked into Clear Channel Studios. I put together a radio talk show treatment called Teen Talk Live, which was this platform that I envisioned for all of us to be able to come together, learn from experts across the country, and really feel empowered by our peers. And 6 months later was our very first live show. And 3 years into Teen Talk Live, I started to realize that this show was not just a platform for my peers. Just as many Gen Xers and baby boomers were tuning in. We had so much interest from outside media, broadcast affiliates, newspapers, magazines, because truly there was not many platforms, there were not many outlets shedding light on teenagers. And everybody was starting to get, interest as to who we are, what we're all about, how we're different. And Teen Talk Live was a really great forum to really showcase that. Yeah. So by the time I was 18, I started producing for Fox and CBS. And truly, Brandon, it was a ripple effect. I never stopped pursuing my passion, and that was just really empowering this generation. And I worked my way into local TV, to national TV, and by the time I was 18, I was tapped by Kotex to be their millennial spokesperson. And I realized that the word millennial totally encompassed everything that I felt as a Gen Y teenager, and I ran with it. So I started creating all this content about millennials and creating all this content about millennials for affiliates across the world, across the country. And now 10 years later, we as entrepreneurs, as solopreneurs, as business owners, we all have to evolve to stay relevant. And I realized that I loved working in front of and behind the scenes just as much. So as much as I do hosting and producing and production, I also do a lot of the back-end work in the strategy, the social media, the influencer alignment, and really that I make it come 360 for my clients. So that was a long-winded answer, but that is a little bit of my story, and it's I can't believe it's a decade. And I literally just posted a throwback to Teen Talk Live in the studio this morning. So great time to ask questions.
Well, that's a great story, and I love the fact that you've embraced this and kind of taken a stance for the millennials and our generation. I'm 25, actually, and it's actually funny. My birthday is actually February the 3rd, so I think you were born on the 2nd, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
So,
Cyber.
Yeah. So I'm a year behind you, but I know in 2017, if you don't know what a millennial is, I don't know where you've been, but just in case anyone that's watching this, I mean, what's a millennial? What's the difference between a millennial, Gen X, Gen Z? I mean, what is the difference there? What is that?
So you have baby boomers, then Gen Xers, then millennials, and then Gen Zers.
Right.
So we're, within the next few years, we're going to start to hear more about Gen Zers. But truly, millennials and Gen Zers are going to be of the same type of generation because we're growing up in this digital age. Right. And that's what makes us so different from Gen Xers and baby boomers. So millennials are about 18 to 35 years old right now. And we are primarily the children of Gen Xers and baby boomers.
Yep. Okay, so awesome. So why is it important, do you think, for businesses to care about millennials? Why should they be thinking about them when they're trying to get new customers, or whether they're trying to move into the digital space? Why should they be concerned about millennials?
Well, I'm sure if you are new to, and if you're new to being aware that millennials are starting to take over the world, or not, you're starting to. You can't help but realize that every marketing, every marketer and advertiser, every network, every Fortune 500 company is on a mission to understand the millennial mindset. And reason is because truly what did work in the past in traditional advertising and marketing is not going to work today in the digital age, especially when trying to attract and appeal and retain the millennial consumer. And why does everybody want the millennial consumer? Well, because we are the largest population on the planet. We are about 80 million strong in the U.S. alone. And as a generation, we have the largest combined spending power, about 200 billion in spending power. So that is truly why, everybody's looking to understand how to get a piece of the millennial market share.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's really important, too, that businesses, like I said, that's why I started the show. If you're a business owner and you aren't making an effort to have a strong online presence and be relevant in the digital space, you're basically going to be losing to the people that are relevant in the digital space. So I wanted to ask you as well, how about, what would you say to businesses that are looking to do influencer marketing? I know people have heard the term, but what exactly is influencer marketing for business owners out there?
Well, you kind of hit it right on the head, Brandon, that if businesses are, not taking into consideration the millennial market, but also not taking into consideration digital marketing, social media marketing, influencer marketing, they will start to fall behind the curve. And those companies, those businesses, those brands, those entrepreneurs that are educating themselves on the opportunities that we have to market ourselves in the digital landscape, on social media, what influencers are relevant within our industry, are going to start to scale faster than those that are not. Plain and simple. Millennials, about over 70% of millennials alone are making their purchasing decisions based on social media and a lot of influencer branded content. So, really important to understand influencers and influencer marketing and the power behind it. So, just to define what influencers are today, because I think we throw that term around a bit loosely, and what truly defines an influencer. And I'm sure everybody has their own opinion, but I do believe that an influencer could be an everyday person. It's not a celebrity. It's not somebody famous. It's somebody who has established their credibility and their expertise within their industry. And there are influencers in every landscape: fashion, food, fitness, politics, finance. I mean, so, in every aspect, there are different influencers. An influencer is someone who has honed their craft, honed their messaging, creates content or has some sort of programming that is consistent and educating, bringing value to their audience on a consistent basis, and has truly grown this loyal and engaged community over time that they have influence and impact within. So, a lot of brands and businesses are taking the time to research which influencers are relevant and creating that impact within their industry, and tapping the influencer, or when I say tapping, meaning contacting, inquiring through the influencer to create on behalf of their brand. That could be a video podcast. That could be a vlog. That could be a Twitter chat. That could be an actual in-person event. There are, on traditional, digital, online and offline. There are so many ways to incorporate influencers into our marketing strategies today, and the brands that are doing it, well, are seeing a tremendous return. Tap Influence came out with an amazing study that influencer branded content. So, for example, not Capital One creating Capital One branded content, an influencer creating branded content on behalf of Capital One. I use Capital One as an example. That influencer branded content is 11 times will retain will get an 11 times higher ROI than the branded content itself. So influencers are really like scaling tremendously. They influence their reach, their impact, and studies. We have data now to prove the return on investment in incorporating influencer into your marketing strategy, and it's really a tremendous opportunity to scale, a tremendous opportunity to tap into multiple different audiences. And I think we're only going to see influencer marketing become more and more native and intertwined into marketing strategies going forward. I think we're just, again, cracking the surface here.
Yeah, and it's funny because I think I've heard you mention before in one of your talks that you did that you brought up a good point. People listen to their peers because they relate to them, you know? And it's not that the brand doesn't have the same power, but in a way it is that way, you know? If you see something from, you know, someone that you can relate to or maybe that you look up to online, you know, you're more likely to relate to that. And that, I think that's why influencer marketing is so important for businesses to pay attention to. And so,
to simplify the impact of influencer marketing, I always give this example. You know, when you are watching television commercial and you see a movie trailer, right, you're going to say, oh, I have to see that movie, or I don't know if that's worth my time, like maybe I'll just on demand it, like do I really need to see it in theaters? You know, you have that conversation with yourself. Versus your best friend telling you must see this movie. It's an absolute experience. It's a must-see in theaters movie. It's absolutely incredible. You're going to be that much more likely to trust your friend's opinion and perspective versus just simply watching the trailer. And branded content is the simple trailer. Influencer content, peer content is your friend telling you how amazing it was. And obviously, we all have, shared our opinions and also taken opinions from friends and family of what to do, what not to do, what to buy, what not to buy. And influencers make it completely relatable because, again, they are everyday people. And they have built this loyalty and engagement and following due to their expertise, due to the content they're creating. So they are so in the know of their audience and understand what speaks to them, what resonates with them, what content appeals to them, versus a brand trying to figure out how to do it to please everybody. These influencers really understand their niche audience.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing about millennials is, if I'm not mistaken, I've heard that we have quite short attention spans. Is that true?
That is very true. We have about the attention span of a goldfish today, which is about 7 to 8 seconds, which might sound like crazy, 7 to 8 seconds. But then if you think about it, how fast do we all get distracted? Yeah. We could be having a conversation and then our phone rings, boom, and your eyes go right to the screen. Or, we're working in a document and then we see an email pop up and we go right over to our Gmail account. So, we do have to understand that we have a very short window to attract whoever we're trying to attract. And that's why understanding who our target audience is, taking the time to understand where they are on social media, will really help us pop through the clutter that much faster because there is so much content today. We're bombarded all day long with content, with information, with promotions, with discount codes. So if you can really understand who your niche audience is, who your micro markets are, where they are in the social landscape, right? Just because millennials are obsessed with social media does not mean that you have to be everywhere all the time. So if you're in the food industry, you should absolutely be on Instagram. You should absolutely be on those very visual-oriented platforms. Like Twitter's not going to be Twitter is more copy-driven. Instagram, Pinterest, more visual-driven. So really take the time to understand what platforms are going to showcase your brand messaging and content best. Like you said, we all have a million things to do all the time. So we might as well really take the time to understand what's going to work best for us instead of trying to do everything and be everywhere and spread ourselves thin.
Right. So along that line, would you say if you're a business that's just starting out, maybe, and you're wanting to tackle social media, would you say pick a platform and just go all into it, or would you say maybe spread yourself out a little bit and kind of be a little bit more places?
So that's a great question. I'm actually going to open up one of the questions that was very much in relation.
Mm-hmm.
I had a few questions come in for us,
Yeah.
and it's kind of aligned to that question. And it's from one of my awesome followers, Stephanie Blazevik, and she said, "Where is the best place to build your new business? If it is a side hustle or a full-time, how much is too much? You don't want to pet peeve your current employer, so what's the lay of the land there?" So if you're building a side hustle, then you absolutely don't want to, bombard your LinkedIn, which I feel is like our digital resumes today, with all this new stuff that you're doing when you have like a full-time job. That could confuse the employer, unless you're very transparent with the employer with your side hustle that's having no impact on your performance in the workplace. But here's it. Whether it's a side hustle or whether it's your full-time business, do the research, do the homework. Take the time and dive into some social demographics, the age range, the gender, content creation, times that are peak, the peak times to post, hashtags, what hashtags are most relevant to your industry. Once you kind of put together like a little bit of a foundation plan of what channels are attracting your audience, what hashtags are relevant to your industry, what's the best, what best suggested times to post on those channels, where your demographics are most on social media, then you could really start to put a game plan in place, right? Don't just post to post. Don't just share to share. Don't just be on every channel to be on every channel. It's not going to get you as far as you want to be, right? So understanding, quality over quantity, 100%, especially in the beginning, because how many other things are you doing in the beginning, right? So I say pick 3 channels and stick with them. Everybody should have a LinkedIn presence, so that doesn't even count. Have your established digital resume on LinkedIn, right? It's the best place for all of us to showcase our expertise, our contact information, our credibility, publish our reviews. Reviews are essential and could be a very big decision factor of whether somebody wants to go with you or somebody else. Everybody needs to have a Facebook business page. Facebook is a beast. There's no powerful platform than Facebook. Especially thanks to Facebook ads and analytics, we're able to really track our progress through Facebook. So then it really comes down to Snapchat, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest. And where does it make sense to spend most of your time and dedicate most of your energy? Are you visual or are you more copy driven? Where are the influencers within your industry? Are they more on Instagram or are they more on Twitter? Wherever the influencers are is really where your brand and your business should be as well. So before you dive into the research. I think a lot of us are racing against this invisible clock. I say that all the time. I always feel like I'm racing against this invisible clock because we're such a fast-paced society. But doing the research, understanding where your audience is, understanding what content is going to have the biggest impact on that audience, you're only going to start to see positive results faster.
Exactly. Okay, so that was an amazing answer. I love it. And I love, by the way, what you've been able to do on Twitter. Your Twitter is amazing. I love going on there. I just had to say that. That's something that I need to work on more, is being more active on Twitter. And you're actually the host of Millennial Talk. Is that correct? Millennial Talk? And that's every Tuesday. Okay.
At p.m. Eastern time.
Awesome. I love that you've kind of taken that Twitter and used it as a platform to do that. So I think that's awesome. So
my Twitter handle is the perfect example of not spreading myself thin and really understanding where my target audience was. And also, so some of us need to understand where our target audience is, but our audience might not always be our client. if that makes sense, right? So we have to feed the community, and then we also do have to realize, is the community always the client? So, for example, I work with a lot of corporate, MasterCard, IBM, Intel, Capital One, and they are looking to tap the millennial generation. So my audience is millennials, right? I want to engage, empower, relate to millennials, but also I have to realize that I do have to feed my corporate client because they're the ones paying me at the end of the day, right? So refining who your audience verticals are is very important too, with where you need to be and what you should be doing on social. And I realized that, a lot of my corporate clients are on Twitter. They're not necessarily on Instagram, but my community is on Instagram, right? The younger audience on Instagram. So what I did, and this was, going back 5 years ago, Instagram was not what it was today, but Twitter was very powerful. And I decided to, instead of spreading myself thin, because I was also building another company at the time, I was like, I'm going to put not all of my eggs, but most of my eggs in the Twitter basket. And that really paid off for me, because I really evolved with Twitter. I launched my Twitter chats through Twitter. And if you go to my Twitter account, I have, over 130,000 followers. You go to my Instagram account, it's almost 15,000 followers. So you could really tell where I was putting my energy. And so if you could really understand where your client is, because obviously at the end of the day, we do need to make money. It's very important to understand if your audience is your client, or you do have to understand to feed two beasts. But the Twitter chats are an amazing traffic builder for all of us looking to really bring attention to our channels, generate engagement around our channels, create conversation within our peer circle. I recommend everybody participating in a millennial talk because it's such a great networking opportunity as well. So for all of us who are looking to really, kickstart the traffic, not only hosting a chat but participating in chats are phenomenal for all of our handles, especially if Twitter is a place you need to be.
I agree, and I think it's amazing that we can just, if we take the time to work on it, we can actually build such a strong following, and we can create such large engagement across different communities about so many different things. And I just think that's amazing that we can do that now.
Yes, and you know what? And I want to say this right away, because a lot of us think, oh gosh, it's going to take me forever to grow a community, right? Like, especially if we're just starting out. Don't let that be your barrier to entry. Don't let that intimidate you, because the reality is everybody had to start somewhere, right? So doing the research, understanding where your audience is, understanding where your client is only going to help you scale faster. It's only going to make you have that much of a stronger impact out of the gate. But the thing to keep in mind is that there are Facebook ads and Google ads and boosted post options for a reason. And it's to help further kickstart that engagement and bring those eyeballs to your channels. So don't think that you can't boost a post or structure an ad to help bring more attention to, maybe it's your show, maybe it's your vlog, maybe it's your blog, maybe it's your YouTube channel. Think if you can put a budget together, of a monthly budget, to put some money behind certain posts to further be the catalyst behind your engagement and your follower count, do it. Take advantage of it, especially with Facebook. We can really target our audience. So we know that we're not just kind of blanket marketing. You're really able to narrow in on who and where you want to be. So that's something, especially from launching out of the gate. Don't be scared to play around with putting a budget behind your social strategy. You'll only start to see more impact faster.
I agree completely. So I was thinking about that post you put on Instagram the other day about how you wanted to change the stereotype of millennial from entitled, because that's such a word that we hear so often. When we talk about millennials in the conversation, we hear entitled, we hear lazy, and how you're wanting to change that to entrepreneurial. And I love that so much. Talk to me about that and that message.
I truly, even 10 years ago, Teen Talk Live days, that was my mission to change that. And that, for whatever reason, call us lazy, call us the demise of the future. The entitled stereotype really got to me a lot because, we were called the trophy generation and entitled. And it's like, okay, well, just because our parents, wanted everyone to win doesn't mean that that's our fault, So let's flip the switch here. So I realized after hosting Teen Talk Live for several years, after working with so many incredible millennials across the country, we were such an entrepreneurial-driven generation, and a lot has to do with us entering the workforce upon the economy crash. And we realized that we really have to be in charge of our own success more than ever, right? Because one day, in 2008, it was just one day, boom, it was like game over. So, and we live in a very uncertain world today. So, everybody establishing their own personal brand online, establishing their authority, honing their skill sets is only going to make them give them a competitive advantage in the workplace or establishing your own business down the road. So I was just blown away by how every millennial I was talking to, interviewing, inviting on my TV show back in 2013, everybody was creating something. Everybody was launching something. Everybody was in startup mindset. If you ask a millennial what they do, I bet you 90% of the time they will never give you a one-word answer. We are such a multitasking, hyphenated generation because we can be, right? We can be a graphic designer, but also do video editing and copywriting. So it's like, that's three different things that could all have tremendous value to a client. And I just said, I think we have this entrepreneurial hat because of all of the platforms that we have available to us to monetize, to grow an audience, to share our skill set, and to really be able to build a business, I think, easier and faster than any other generation has had the ability to do. Think of Kickstarter. Think of Indiegogo. I mean, you can have an idea and not even have inventory behind it and place it up on, Kickstarter. And next thing you know, 3 months later, you can raise $500,000. You don't even have to do the VC route or the angel investor or the seed funding route. And so it's unbelievable the access that we have. And I think a lot of us have really taken advantage of that. And that's why I truly believe that, we need to forget that entitled stereotype and change it to entrepreneurial, especially because the data also supports that millennials have started businesses earlier and more than ever than any previous generation. So as a generation, millennials, we have launched and created more businesses than any previous generation. So the data proves it. I think our mindsets prove it. And we need to fuel the entrepreneurial spirit within all of our millennials in the workplace and out of the workplace, because it's a benefit for everybody all around.
I agree completely. I love it. I love the message. So speaking about entrepreneurs, we're probably going to have a lot that are going to watch this. So what advice would you give to some entrepreneurs that are maybe just starting out and trying to build their business? What advice would you give to those people?
So for entrepreneurs just starting out and wanting to build a business, I know it's redundant, I've said it a few times, but do your research, right? Do the market research. How many businesses like it are out there? Who's doing it? Who are your competitors? How are they doing it? What price point are they doing it at? Do they have a blog on their website? Do they have a podcast? Like what traffic builders are they bringing, attention and engagement to that business for? All of us, I think, because we can literally open up our iPhone and hit, new Instagram page and launch something within 10 seconds, forget to maybe do some of the homework before we do it. And first impression is a very big deal, right? We want to make sure that our first impression is a good impression. So take the time to do the research. Take the time to do the market research. Also, what is your financial situation look like? Do you have savings? Do you have a cushion? Do you have to raise money? So, of course, I would imagine 99% of people launching a new business are going to need some sort of capital. So is it your savings account? Is it a loan? Is it, do you need to go the VC direction? Are you going to launch a Kickstarter? What's the financial plan? Once you have market research, how much money you need, do you want to launch a website? Do you need graphics, business cards, media decks, inventory, right? If we're like, clothing or some sort of product driven. These are all things that we should be thinking about before we ever hit live, right? And I would say upon launching live, have at least a month to 2 months of a content strategy so that when you hit go, you have some content and cushion in the queue, right? Not every day, what am I doing? Where am I going? What am I posting? What am I sharing? So set yourself up for success. Do the research, do the financial organization, understand what the business model is, right? A lot of us sometimes launch a brand but don't know how we're going to monetize it. It may evolve, it may change, it may add on. I've had many, verticals pop up within my business over the past 10 years that I never expected to monetize. Like Twitter chats, for example. In 2007, if someone said, Chelsea, you're going to monetize Twitter chats one day, I would have been like, what are you talking about? So what does the business model look like? Where do you think you can monetize right away versus maybe a phase 2, phase 3 type of income stream? And then do you need help? Right? A lot of us, there's only so much in the day. There's only so much time in the day. There's only so much one person can do. So do you need to have one other person on the team? Is it an intern? Is it a full-time employee? And again, that's helping you set yourself up for success. So a lot of conversations we should be having with ourselves right out the gate. And what we can all benefit from, upon go, again, is that LinkedIn page, that Facebook business page, and cohesive brand messaging. So that's why I say don't launch before you're ready. Know your logo, know your business name, have your bio created so that when you have all of those channels, everything's consistent and cohesive across every channel. Because I might have found you via Instagram, but somebody else could have found you via Twitter. And if your Twitter and Instagram have different messaging, that's going to be very confusing to the consumer or the audience. So all of the organization should be something that you never rush and really take time to sort through and flush through before you ever hit launch.
Exactly. I love it. And so we're talking about entrepreneurs starting businesses. How important do you think is networking for not just for entrepreneurs even or for businesses, but for humans, really? How important is networking and using social media to network with others?
100% of the most important things in business is networking. And the beautiful thing about social media is that we could network in our pajamas from our house, thanks to having access to people across the world, right in the palm of our hands. But just as important as social networking is and digital networking, so is offline networking and FaceTime, real FaceTime, not iPhone FaceTime, market networking. People help you grow. People help you scale. Relationships help to open doors. Speaking at events, right? Like, going to speak, a lot of people are like, I don't speak for free. Well, how many people did you miss the opportunity of meeting by speaking on stage and being at that event? So every opportunity, maybe it's not compensated right away, should be looked at as a networking opportunity. A lot of people don't realize that, you start making money right away. Yeah, it's like, what do you mean you spoke for free? What do you mean you did this free? I worked for 3 years before I made 1 penny. And it was because I was building my credibility, I was building my foundation, I was building my audience, and positioning myself to somebody and bringing them value to the point of them thinking that I was worthy of getting paid and compensated. So networking and building that community is only going to help open doors, establish relationships. It's also great for mentorship. and collaboration. Networking, there's so many different aspects of networking. We should all have a collaborative mindset today. Look at what we're doing. Yes, you are interviewing me, but we are collaborating right now. I'm also tapping my Facebook audience, and I'm going to be sharing all of our content through my channels. This is a ping pong that we are doing, and that's what everything is in digital and social media today. So networking should be for relationship building, client, building, credibility building, and then absolutely who could you collab with who's in your field to help enter into their audience, right? Like now your audience is getting to know me, my audience is getting to know you. This is how we just continue to grow. So some of us who are shy or introverts, start with social, build your confidence a little bit, but then get yourself out there in the real world and start the networking. Always have business cards on you. You never know who you're going to meet and where you're going to meet them. And when you're able to whip out your business card and say, I'd love to have yours, let's keep in touch, boom, you have that contact information, and then it's on you to follow up. And I can't tell you over the past 10 years how many business cards I've collected and then gone to follow up, and something has transpired from it. So, don't expect for anyone to ever contact you. You contact them. And also someone might be like, oh, let me take your card and I'll get back to you. No. You take their card and you'll contact them, because then you're in charge and then you have that contact information. So upon launching your business, have your business cards ready, because anywhere and anytime could be a networking opportunity.
Exactly. I was recently rereading a book. You might have heard of it, The Little Red Book of Selling by Jeffrey Gitomer, and he talks about having your antennas up, always being aware and ready. Whether it be, online or in person, to, to hand out that business card or to connect with this person and say, oh, hey, what do you do? Or how can I help you? Oh, yeah, this is what I do, So I think that's super important. And I think actually, too, I think the Instagram direct message is one of the most underrated tools that we have at all of our disposals today. That's something that Gary Vaynerchuk says, and I completely agree with him. And there's also some people... There's some people that I've reached out to that are, influencers that I've wanted to connect with that are kind of like you. They're really strong on Twitter, and I'll have to catch them tweeting. I'll have to turn my notifications on, for them, and I'll have to catch them tweeting so that I can respond to them. And that's how, you can connect with people. And I think it's so great that we can do that,
Totally. I not only with a collab opportunity, but also with inquiries. Sometimes it's so much easier to pop someone a DM because you might not have their email address yet. Yeah. I've landed speaking inquiries, media inquiries, client inquiries through a simple DM. So yes, absolutely. Take that, take that into consideration, but also don't get spammy. Don't bombard people with 100 million DMs, because that just, nobody ever likes that. But I'll tell you such a crazy networking story, Brandon, of just how you just don't know. But my 16-year-old self, prior to Teen Talk Live, my mom and I were hustling on the elliptical at the gym, and we were talking about Teen Talk Live, and I was just kind of word vomiting at her all of my ideas, all the topics I wanted to talk about, all the frustrations I had about, all the negative stereotypes that I was hearing. And about 15 minutes into our conversation, really getting our sweat on, I feel someone tap me on the shoulder. And this is a true story. Someone tapped me on the shoulder, and I turn around, and there's this beautiful woman, and she was like, I'm so sorry to interrupt my assistant's looking at me because I don't think she even knows this story. She's like, what are you about to say, Chelsea? She taps me on the shoulder, and she's like, I'm so sorry, but I was totally eavesdropping on your entire conversation, and I work at Clear Channel Studios, and I love the concept of a teen-driven show. Within that second, my mom and I hopped off the elliptical, and 3 hours later, the three of us were sitting in the corner talking about Teen Talk Live. And she was the introduction to Clear Channel Studios for me. So, I didn't have a business card on me, but that's the craziness of you just don't know where and when, and to seize the opportunity, and to don't shy away from it. My biggest word or phrase in life. It's always a yes until it's a no. And if it's a no, then you just try again. It's never just a flat out no. It's like, okay, well, that's a no, but maybe there's a different angle of how to approach it. And that was truly the definition of my beginnings. How many times I heard, no, Brandon, no, we don't know what to do with you. How can we trust a teenager? I would just come back in a different angle. So it's you know what it is? It's persistence. It's passion, it's dedication, it's not letting yourself get overly frustrated. This is never going to work. I'm never going to be able to do it. Everybody has to start somewhere. And it's extremely rare to become an overnight YouTube sensation. Yeah. Those people are very lucky. And that's why it's slow and steady wins the race. But doing that homework is only going to make your rollout that much more effective. 100%.
I love it so much. So many golden nuggets. I'm really loving this. I think anyone that watches this is going to have so much to take notes on, and learn from. So I know we've been going, we've been going for a while now. I want to talk about one more thing. I love the fact that you spoke at the 10X Growth Con this past year with Grant Cardone and so many, amazing other speakers. I didn't get to go this year, but I will say about a couple weeks after the event, I bought my ticket for 2018. So I'll bet that one. And that's, a networking event that I've really been looking forward to. And I'm looking forward to meeting so many entrepreneurs there. And I think that that's important too, to go, like you said, to places in person and to business conferences to where you can, reach up, maybe to some people and to reach out to other, like-minded people. I think that's super important.
100%. And, if you think about it, a lot of Grant Cardone's followers are hungry hustlers, determined for success. So it's all very like-minded people and such an awesome networking opportunity because everybody's there for the same goal, to succeed, to scale, to 10x your growth, right? Yeah. So that's another example of an opportunity to really seize and take advantage of. Grant asked me to speak at 10X. It was 24 thought leaders across the country. Only 4 were women, and I was one of them, and also the youngest on stage to speak. So no pressure at all. Yeah. I almost fainted backstage. And, there was no compensation for speaking, but it was an amazing platform to meet so many people and have a lot of people learn about me. And he said, Chelsea, you're awesome. If you have a product or a program to sell, we'd love to have you, feature it at the event. Mm-hmm. And I said, oh, great opportunity. Don't know what will come from it, but I'm going to put my all behind it. And we had a table set up, and I decided to launch a live coaching program just for the 10X attendees. Mm-hmm. And I called it Millennial Mindset Marketing because that was my presentation as well at the 10X event. And I realized that so many people who were coming to the 10X conference were looking for exactly the information that my expertise is. Marketing, social media, influencer alignment, content creation, ads, digital marketing, right? Every entrepreneur needs to have that information to know what to bring into their business. Yeah. So I put together this 12-week live coaching program and put it at a discounted price. Like I would have, usually had it be a little bit more, but I really wanted to make it a win for everybody. And within 48 hours, we had sold 70 programs. And my speaker's fee, I made quadruple my speaker's fee because I said yes, and then I seized the opportunity. Mm-hmm. And only within, 2 weeks' time did I put that program together. So I was like, I'm going to, take advantage of this opportunity, take advantage of this platform. And the networking, from being at that table and sitting there for 2 days, mm-hmm. It was tremendous. So what's the opportunity that you've been given, but how can you take it to the next level? And the people and the entrepreneurs that think outside of the box, go the extra mile, are the ones that are going to be really successful. Not the ones that are just like, oh, that's the opportunity, great. No, it's amazing. And what more can you do to make it that much more amazing? And if that's your mindset behind it, that's going to be an infectious passion that people are going to see that from you and be you're going to pull them in. And because I love what I do and I get really excited, people do feel that energy. And nobody likes somebody that's like, oh, I have no time for you, or oh, I don't think you're. No, everybody should have time for everybody. You never know what could happen from a conversation. You never know what could happen from a phone call. And especially in the beginning, every conversation is a worthy one. So it's kind of like we all have to like shed our egos a little bit and, not overthink, because we can all be our own worst enemy at times, and just do it. I mean, there's no better slogan than Nike's just do it, because just do it sometimes, and we can all be like, oh, but it's not perfect. Oh, but it's not great. Oh, but what if people don't like, you won't know until you try, right? And that's always been my motto. I don't just try to try it. I do the research. I do the homework. I put in the effort. But I try it. If it works, great. If it doesn't, I figure out what didn't work about it, and I try again. And that's the beautiful thing about analytics. We can all track our analytics on social media, on our website, so that we really can get an understanding of truly what's working and not working.
Exactly. Love it. Chelsea, I want to thank you so much just for taking the time to meet with me today. We got about an hour in, so I think that's amazing. So much, information for people to absorb, and I just really want to thank you for coming out. I want to say hey to everybody on Chelsea's Facebook Live. We're here still live on my Instagram. It's probably getting ready to run out, but say hey. But we'll definitely have to do it again sometime in the future if you're up for it. Because there's, like I said, I could go on and on, honestly, talking with you about entrepreneurial mindsets and social media. But I want to thank you so much, and I really appreciate your time again.
Absolutely. Well, I'd love to invite you on Millennial Talk one time. I'm sure we could put together an awesome Twitter chat together. And for all of your followers, I mean, I'm sure all these hungry hustler entrepreneurs are your followers, our followers. And I'd love to connect. I'd love to stay in touch. DM me your email address if you're interested in being a part of our tribe. We're rolling out in fall, actually, the program that I launched at 10X. Available for everybody. And instead of it being live, it's going to be a do-it-yourself version, so everybody can do it on their own time, at their own pace. I'm telling you, you can't learn this in school, right? No. We all if you go to college, right? You can't learn this in school. So especially if you're really serious about scaling your growth, monetizing your hustle, building your social presence, understanding influencer marketing, understanding content marketing, this program's great for you. And we will be rolling that out in fall. I'm so excited to make it, available for everyone. And so keep in touch. That's the name of the game, right? Bring it full circle and just building the community.
And I'm going to be putting this, I'm going to be putting my Instagram Live on my Facebook page, and I'll be uploading this interview to YouTube directly. So I'll have your social channels in there for everybody to follow you and stay connected with you. So thank you so much again for coming on the show. Make sure everybody go follow Chelsea, guys.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for the amazing compliments and love on Facebook Live. Brandon, we've been getting so many nice words. All the feedback is so appreciated. We do it for you at the end of the day. Without our audience, we're nothing, right? Our audience is what makes us significant, what makes us powerful. So it's so great to hear positive feedback. And Brandon, thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much.